Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins for the big game tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Before we take a closer look, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. In this playthrough you will see shots with various wins, but in the tournament itself, you are only going to have tailwinds. And what that means is that you just need to have one little tailwind component, and then that's going to be classified as tailwind. So for those of you that have been playing the tailwind modifier before, they already know that there could be some crosswinds with tailwind as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be just straight tailwinds. Just important to have that said. But in this playthrough, I try to explain many different ways of playing all the holes, trying to cover all the angles as per usual, even though we do have tailwinds only in the tournament itself. If you do want to improve your game even more, scan the QR code here on the screen and go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link in the description down below. We offer premium guides for all the game modes, checkpoint challenge, short play and tournament play. Last but not least, info box on the right hand side are there for you to follow along in this playthrough, giving you the advice of what club and ball to use and also what club distance and elevation I suggest you to play. Have in mind though that those are all suggestions, and I do my best to explain to you in the best way possible how to do with higher level clubs, lower level clubs, and also the clubs that I'm using in the video. So make sure to have the sound on and enjoy the time here with me in this playthrough. On hole number 9 of the Eagle Peak, we want to play the right-hand side. However, I totally understand that the right-hand side is a much more narrow fairway, and there will be a little bit more risk on the drive playing on the right-hand side. But the benefit you have from playing there is that you do have an approach that gives you a much better chance for an albatross than if you would be playing left. But if you do want to play left-hand side, use as much topspin you can on your drive, try to just blast it down there. You have loads of fairway to play on, and then just play the second shot to green and grab yourself the eagle and move on. On the right hand side, it's all about getting the correct topspin on the drive. You can use the topspin I'm using here in the video as a reference, and use a little bit more in crosswind and then a little bit more than that in headwind. Max plus 20 is the adjustment, and the closer you get to the rough, the better it's going to be. For those of you that do have the possibility to play with a power 4 ball or better, then I recommend to do that, because that will safeguard being short on the approach. Because if you do not have high level clubs here, and especially with the sniper, then you're going to have to be a bit innovative and use whatever you have. Because we do want to use a spot on the fairway that is pretty high up, and you will not be able to reach there if you do have a lower level sniper. So I would recommend a sniper level 8 plus as per minimum if you do play with a P3 ball. And if you do have a P5 ball, for an example, or a P4 ball, you can play with sniper 6 or sniper 7. And the benefit from using the sniper is the ball guideline, because if we can have the ball guideline showing that it goes into the hole, then that's going to be much easier. The intention with this type of shot here is to not go directly into the hole. I want the ball to roll past the pin and fall back into the funnel and roll into the hole. But the reason I suggest the info box the sniper is because the sniper is the far superior club if we compare with the Horizon, because here you can see we come in nicely, but we just have too much spin. And that's very easy to do when you do not have a good ball guideline to follow. But an albatross here in hole number 9 is definitely makeable, but will be an advantage if you have good clubs. For the drive here on the Uniper Point hole number 1, we are going to push as much as we can to get the ball to green. Now, you have a lot of advantage if you do have a club that do have a lot of curl. So the X-Mile level 6 is not the best club for this type of shot. If you do have an Apocalypse level 1, for an example, that's going to be better than the X-Mile level 6 just because of the curl. Use all the left spin that you can together with the 4.5 bar top spin. And you can see here now that we do have perfect speed to have the ball to roll down the green and possibly into the hole, but we do not have enough curl. Now we're lucky staying away from the bunker, but it's truly something to think about when you play this hole. Obviously, you can get around that by using a ball with more side spin, or that you can, in that case, use a ball with more power that will allow yourself to move more left with your aim. But in the end, those of you that do have more curl on your club do have an advantage here. The wedge, super simple. Use the slope that will make the ball fly less than if you would be aiming for a short rollout. Perfect ball here with our wedge is going to be a super simple way for the eagle. On hole number 8, we're going to play on the left-hand side. We're going to bounce over the water, rough and sand, try to land into the rough to roll out on the fairway. For those of you that do have more topspin at 4.5, then you can try to bounce directly over the rough. That would leave you a shorter short iron, but even though we are clipping the rough here, the short iron will still be around mid club, which is still a very makeable drop from distance. Max plus 10, using 2 left spin, 4.5 bar topspin, and using as much curl as I can with my extra mile, which is approximately like 3/4 of a ball of left curl. Clipping the rough, rolling out to 320 or 319 to be more exact. Second shot, I'm gonna play with our thorn. Now the same kind of ball guideline rule applies as hole number 1. We do want to use the club with the best possible ball guideline. This will help us a lot in giving us the best possible chance for a drop. Because when we do have such a poor ball guideline as I do on my thorn level 5, it's going to be very difficult to know if we are aiming left or right of the pin, or if we are aiming so we come in too hot or we're coming too slow. So it's all about making the best possible estimation if you do have a crappy ball guideline. We are almost dropping this one, just a little bit more adjustment, speed was correct, and this will always be a good chance for a drop. 10% elevation and true club distance to measure where your max line is and also where your min line is, and then make a judgment from there. Hole number 1, a par 4 of the Eagle Peak. Playing down the right-hand side using the extra mile or whatever driver that gives you the most power. If you do have an upgraded sniper, you can lay up short and you can play into the funnel from distance. But with accounts with lower level clubs, that's not gonna be the case all the time. So playing down the right-hand side will always safeguard getting the birdie, and you will give yourself a chance for an eagle as well. Max plus 20 is the adjustment, and you can see you have loads of fairway to play on. So even if you are playing with a lot of overpower, there's nothing to be afraid of, as you can hit great on either side. Or I mean, I would say that you can hit good on either side and you're still going to be fine. Now with the backbone or whatever long iron you prefer, either you go up the hill trying to catch the funnel, or you're attacking the pin directly via rough bump, or just via using a lot of backspin. If you are uncertain of going for rough bumps and such, you definitely should use the backspin route, because that will once again make it as safe as it can, because even if you may not drop the shot, you will always be around the pin and you will give yourself a very simple birdie putt as a worst case scenario. 10% elevation from here. And then we do have a perfect ball. Bounces on the fairway and then up towards the pin, and with a little luck can drop for an eagle. Take your game to the next level with our Ultimate Tournament Text Guide for the big game tournament here in Golf Clash the Game. We're gonna play a mix of the Eagle Peak, Juniper Point, and the Milano, and the modifiers for this one is that we do have no par 3s, it's only par 4s and par 5s combined with only tailwind. So it's gonna be a lot of drops here is what I suspect. And if you do want to have yourself a good chance to get to the weekend round, then you make sure to subscribe to our service we offer premium guides for expert and master division to get yourself to the weekend round. And for those that do want to fight for top spots, you have the possibility as well. Once you do sign up, you get instant access to all the content. We obviously have a support line as well through email, but also through Telegram that will be open for all the followers on Patreon. So scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy. That is in the link, is in the description down below. On hole number 5 of the Juniper Point, we are going to play on the right hand side here, and the reason for that is that I do believe that playing from the right is going to make for a much easier second shot. You can play over to the left hand side as well. That will open up for the second shot, but it will also require to have a little bit more power on your wood club to be able to reach from there. Max plus 20, I use as much topspin as I can. That means that even if you would be having max topspin here, I would strongly advise you to use that, because the more topspin you have, the more room you have from the rough line to, on the left and on the right hand side. On the second shot, we prepare for our sniper, and the sniper here is perfect. Even in the lower levels, you do have a decent ball guideline, and having a good ball guideline here is definitely going to help when it comes to attacking the pin for an albatross. Use as much right spin as you can together with some backspin, and the reason for the right spin is to try to make sure that we're not playing close to the rough on the right or on the sand to the right, because it would be so unnecessary if we put that in play. 10% elevation on the second shot, and like through club distance, I do adjust a little bit too little. That's obviously just logic when you see the result, but with a good adjustment here, we are definitely putting us in contention to drop the albatross. On hole number 9, here we do want to have as much wind possible and the straightest tailwind possible, because we do want to blast the ball over the rough and the sand. If we can't do that, then I do recommend to use a driver that gives as much topspin possible and bounce on the first fairway and then over the rough and the sand. Max plus 10 is the adjustment. Once you have adjusted, always push up the max. We do want to gain as much distance possible, because this is a par 5 where an albatross will be, I'm not going to say impossible, but it's going to be very close to that. So we do want to get the ball up safely on the fairway, and then we're fighting to get the eagle, because the majority of the players will struggle even getting the eagle. So getting an eagle will give you one up on the majority of your opponents. On the second shot, we are playing with the wood club that gives you the most power possible. And also, if you do have at least 4 bars of topspin, that would be very helpful. The big dog here allows us to go for a bounce on the fairway into the rough to roll out on the fairway pad that is before the rough and the sand that is the closest by the green. So I'm using, in the end, settling for 4 topspin. I'm gonna get there in the end, but you can see I'm starting with 2, but then I'm changing to 4, and that's what I'm using in the end. Stretching out to see how many rings of overpower I'm going to use, and then I'm using that. I'm using 2 rings of overpower, or like 2.5, something like that. Bounces on the fairway into the rough to roll out for a wedge. A difficult shot to play, but you don't really have anything to lose here. Even if you would get stuck in the rough or in the sand by the green, you will still have a chance to drop the eagle from there. But if you're on fairway, you have the possibility to play a wedge, and that will have a higher drop rate than if you would be playing from the rough or the sand. Play with the wedge that gives you the best possible ball guideline. If you have a very low wind, you can just eyeball it. If you do have a wind that is 5 miles per hour plus, I would recommend to do some sort of an EB school if you have learned that type of adjustment. If you haven't, then you can search here on YouTube for EB school, and then you will find guide and tutorial for that. On hole number 3, a par 5 of the Eagle Peak, we are either going on the right hand side or we're going on the left hand side. The benefit from going on the right hand side is because it's that you do not need that much curl. You can just play it down the right side and then play a shot with backspin on the approach. The benefit from playing on the left hand side is that the second shot is going to be a much better chance for a drop, because there we do not have a stupid bunker in our way when we're attacking the pin. Excuse me. We're playing with our extra mile or whatever driver that gives us the most power, looking to use all the left spin together with some top spin. What you need to have in mind here that the side spin 3 is not forcing us to play with a kingmaker. We can play with a katana, but again, the side spin 3 is very valuable. Using some overpower here and also some left curl to get the ball down the fairway. You can hit greats on either side, even though that looked extremely scary as close we were there to the rough. Now the second shot from here is going to be played with a sniper. Like I said in the beginning of the voiceover here, the left hand side has no obstacles. You have loads of fairway to play on, and we can attack the pin from here. But again, you can play the right hand side, but that will put the bunker in play, and you're going to have to play with backspin and go over the bunker to give yourself a solid chance towards the pin. Now, we are looking to have the ball guide to hole. Here you don't have to have a sniper level 9 plus. You can play with a very low level sniper. As you can see that we are not in plus yardage. What that means is that we're not close to max club, because plus yardage that you do have when it's max with a P3 ball is plus 11, so you have loads of room here to use on the approach. 10% elevation from here, and then whatever club distance you have. Have in mind that you do not have to use the same elevation that is suggested here in the video, but there's obviously a plan with the numbers. Albatross is definitely makeable, but there will be more eagles and albatrosses on this hole in general. For hole number 8, here we are going to go for green, and I would recommend to try to do that in regardless what wind direction you do have off tee. Obviously there are some water before where we are aiming, but also to the right, but getting that ball to the right is gonna, I mean, that's going to equal an absolute massive error if you're getting the ball there. I don't really see that in the equation of risks to try to play this one to green. Max plus 10, I'm using 4.5 bar top spin and 2 right spin. Outside wall right curl. And then the intention is to bounce and then to bounce and then clip the rough to roll out onto the green. Obviously extremely lucky there with a great right. Not clipping the rough with the second bounce. So we do have some room if we do hit a great left or a perfect. The more topspin you have, the easier it's going to be, because you can obviously then back up and do the same type of play, but without having to go any type of overpower or push up or something like that. And also if you use a ball with more power, that's going to be easier. So there's many ways of making it easier, but as you can see, it's very makeable with a low level club and a standard power 3 ball such as the Titan. Another par 5 of the Eagle Peak, hole number 6, and here we need as well to be a little bit innovative with the way we are playing. I mean, don't steer yourself blind with the extra mile and such here, because here having a lot of topspin is extremely valuable, because what that do is that you can then do a double bounce over the rough here at the top. You can hit greats on either side and still gonna be fine. You can see here what I'm doing. Making that double bounce, and that's kind of the normal play on this hole. If you have never played this par 5 before, that's the normal way of playing to give yourself a shot for the albatross. The other way of doing is to curl around to the right, which will be problematic with lower level clubs, because you will not in that case have enough curl to get there, but you're basically just playing for an eagle if so. You could see that I had the big top of level 4, which in my opinion is too high of a level club when we play from the front tee, which is rookie division. Does that mean that this is the minimum level you need to have? No, it's not. You just need to have big top of level 1. The only difference is that you have to back up a little bit and use a little bit more. Overpower. For those that do have the luxury to have higher level clubs with the Thor's Hammer and the Apocalypse with also extra mile, let's say Apocalypse level 6 plus, Thor's Hammer level 5 plus, and the extra mile level 9, then you can use those clubs instead, and you have an easier time than the big topper. But if you do not have any of those club levels, then that's going to be clubs then that's going to be the big topper that we want to use. Now on the approach, we do have a rough bump, and here you can see the benefit from once again going over on the left, that we do allow ourselves to attack the pin for an albatross. But not just that, it also allows us to play a very risk-free second shot, because we have loads and loads of room on that rough. You can grades on either side, have accidental overpower, underpower, and even if you do not drop your shot, you will get yourself into the mix of being close to the pin like this and have a tap in for an eagle. But obviously in the best case scenario, we drop the albatross. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins. If you do want to improve your game even more, scan the QR code here on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link in the description down below. Last but not least, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. Those 3 things will help the channel immensely. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in the Golf Clash game.